graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
Previously on Welcome to Show.
They literally just died.
Yeah, because
Okay.
remember in the first one when he pulls out the white
Joey
chick?
Pants does it.
Yeah, Joey Pants.
Oh, that's
pulls-
right, yeah.
And they're like,
She's
say
just
goodbye
done.
if you have anything to say to
That's right.
to the white chick and the guy from South Pacific.
APOC and Snatch. I think her name was Switch.
Switch. There you go. Snatch this fucking guy. I don't want to see her snatch for the
So,
record.
anyways, even with Superman's a man of fucking steel. He can't fucking die. What?
We gotta have kryptonite.
You got some kryptonite. Someone has some kryptonite somewhere. Oh, you got fucking Lois Lane picked a nice green dildo. Oh no, it's made out of kryptonite. You know, it's kind of
Take it out of my ass, Lois. Take it out of my ass.
I'll put it in deeper. You know. The guy that he jumps onto the sword.
Ha!
Yeah,
with the giant goatee.
You want like
That-
gravity defying shit.
Well, that's
like fucking
running
Crouching
through
Tiger,
trees and
Hidden
shit.
Dragon.
Run
Yeah.
up trees. Okay, fair enough. Fair
Roll
enough.
my
that type of shit. That type of
fucking
shit.
call me Chow Yun, fat bitch.
You get kicked in the nuts and you fucking do a little twist and the bitch goes flying. That's the Kung Fu Master I would be too. If it was gonna be, that'd be awesome.
Was it 2003?
I think so because
Hell,
they came
man.
out in the same year.
Hell, maybe some of these kids were like conceived in the night their parents went to go see the Matrix.
It's
Well, they're
possible.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna fuck you. Like,
It's quite possible.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying.
I mean, Gooch. I mean,
I'm the one Trinity.
Jesus. Deviants. Welcome to show. I am the Clitoris, and I am here with,
The Gooch.
And the Diva Slack.
and we are the Social Deviants, who are back here today to continue our discussion of the saga of Neo.
The one.
But we will start this episode with a dispute on that point, which is that Neo is not the true one. If you'll recall from last week, we sort of had a little fuck up, hullabaloo,
boneheads,
a little.
Boneheads.
We had some shenanigans, some tomfoolery, and none of us actually fucking knew who put this shit on the fucking rundown. So
I blame Clint.
definitely wasn't me.
And it wasn't me.
Devo thought it was me. I thought it was him. Gooch.
I didn't know anything 'cause I never
Gooch
know
thought he
anything.
was absolved, and it actually turns out it was probably Gooch.
It probably was
Yeah.
me.
Well, because to be fair, he doesn't contribute anything to the show.
I was here just to look good.
and chew bubblegum.
And Chubo.
And he's all out looking good.
Oh, that's
So we went ahead and watched this IO9 video that puts forth this theory that Agent Smith is actually the one.
Yep,
Dun
not
dun
Neo.
dun. So,
And
I don't know, do you guys want to recap it first?
I'll put the link in the show notes so
Yeah.
you can go to socialdeviants.co, go to this episode, and you can watch that video. If you want to pause this, watch the video first, and then come back to this. It's only 2 minutes long. It's not very long. Very slow, very boring.
Yeah, I mean, there's other videos out there that are 12
But we're not
to
talking
15
about that
minutes.
garbage.
Yes.
Yeah, we're talking about this short little one. This is what this topic is about. And it's very, I'm going to say it this way, very on the nose. It is taking parts of the films and taking them almost extremely literally to make a counterpoint to the entire movie. To the entire trilogy.
Okay, so this is the first thing I want to say about this thing. If this person actually thinks this, then that means that the Wachowskis wrote this story and made the movie with this script and intended for the way that people are supposed to interpret the film to be like multi-layered and be hidden from everyone until they decided that they wanted to confirm that this was the case, right? And so I guess I can see the idea behind it, because like if you want to talk about religion,
Yeah.
you can say that like there may be something that happened like thousands of years ago and it may have actually occurred one way, and yet the way that it's sort of been passed down through the centuries has either been like perverted or has been like had different permutations of it, or someone crafted it to be different than it actually was when it was first put forth. And
Yeah.
that's what the Wachowskis would be doing here. They would basically be saying that the Neo is the one, right? All this like promotional material, all these games, all these books, all this stuff to say he's the one, and yet deep down they know between themselves that actually he's not the one. He's just a decoy, right? And that would mean that all the dialogue that got put in there, which is, as we know, when you're making a movie, sometimes the words that the actors actually say can be much different than what's actually in the script because the actor feels like it must be like different this way. So that means that like the Wachowskis had to have like crafted even those little words, and then so that someone could then take the trilogy apart and make a 2-minute video of saying these little things about, oh, it's this and this and this, and this person said this person said this, and like you said, taking it extremely literally. Like, I'm dubious of the fact that the Wachowskis would even do that. I'm not saying I put it past them. I'm saying it just seems unlikely.
I like the idea of having of something like that, to where the concept of creating this large, long, elaborate story and all signs point this way, but in reality you are going in this direction is really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Now, if there's anybody out there that I think would be able to pull something off like that, it would be the Wachowskis. But when it comes down to brass tacks, I don't think that is the truth behind the Matrix here. I think that Neo is actually the one, and one thing that I think is kind of interesting as well is that when you think about it, if Neo is the one living in a binary world, that makes Agent Smith his zero.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see, that's what my point is, that even like Agent Zero, even Agent Smith said that Agent Zero, something happened. Yeah, something happened to me when he entered him in the first, and he freed him, right?
Did he enter him through the anus?
The anus, yes. He like actually just broke through
his urethra.
Well, it turns out what I think what the architect even said is like you're like one side of a coin. You know, there's the one, and then there's Agent Smith, you know, the good and the evil, you know, and I think that's what I think. So Neo is the one, but if he's the one, then, you know, he's the opposite side of him. So they're both the same character. So then that's why when they came together, it ended.
Yeah.
So they're not, he is the one, but Agent Smith is his other half. So he's not a whole person at that point. So it might have even ended when, you know, in the second film where he's actually being taken over.
Yeah.
He might have at that point, if he would have let himself take over, he actually might have ended it right there.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
sure.
it might have. He wasn't connected to the source, but he might have killed Agent Smith and possibly have caused a crash, because that's not supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen was that he gets scared and runs away, right? But in reality, what needed to happen was that he needed to absorb Agent Smith, or let Agent Smith absorb him to actually become the one.
But I do agree that Agent Smith had to go back to the source for some point, because
that's what I'm saying. So in the second one, it couldn't happen because it's not meant to happen.
Why did he have to go back to the source?
Because
just restart the Matrix.
Reload
Agent
the Matrix.
Smith?
Yes, because Neo goes to the source
and nothing happens.
He gets jacked in, but nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
It's not until Smith overtakes his body, Smith becomes Neo,
and they become
and then
one.
At that point the source is like, okay, I have Smith now, and actually then actually proceeds to destroy Neo or whatever it does to reboot the Matrix.
Yeah, I mean they don't really elaborate on how you know the prior ones actually saved the.
Exactly.
I'm like so confused right now.
Well,
what you just
so Neo goes to the source, right?
Yeah.
He's blinded.
The source. What do you mean the source?
The source. At the very end,
that
it's that
fucking
giant,
spike creature.
Yeah.
that
That's
spike
the
creature
source.
with the giant fucking quintesson face, right? That's the source. That is where the one's supposed to go to reload the Matrix.
Oh yeah.
Neo goes there, and he's like, I have to stop Smith. I can't stop Smith unless I get back in the Matrix. So the source sends Neo back in the Matrix. But if Neo's the one, and he's supposed to go to the source to reboot the Matrix, why doesn't it just happen there when he gets to the source?
Yeah.
It's not until
They never explain the mechanism.
It's not until he's fighting Smith,
and he realizes that,
and then he realizes, I can't beat Smith, so he lets Smith overtake him. and then Smith he becomes one of the Smiths. Once that happens, then the Source does whatever it is that it did to destroy Neo, to destroy Smith, to reload the Matrix.
The funny thing is that I think that okay, she mentions in that video that like Neo can't be the one because Neo wasn't created inside the Matrix, right? And that Agent Smith was, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but Agent Smith is actually a program inside the Matrix.
That is my understanding.
Yeah, so a program is not created inside the environment in which it will live. It's created outside of it, and then the program is then uploaded to the environment, and then it works.
But the thing, the thing with the Matrix is, I think they are programs be created by programs.
Yeah.
Right, because the architect and the Oracle are technically
are the program masters, I suppose. They're like there's the Source, and then there's the Oracle, and then there's the architect. They're the ones that pretty much control the programs that are inside the Matrix.
So are they the ones that were created, and then the butler killed the fucking master? Like, are they the cause of that?
I don't think they control the programs. I think they write the programs, and then the programs live off the laws.
Exactly. So
but they are programs living within the Matrix. Because
but that doesn't mean they were born there.
No, but if you are created within the Matrix,
as
an agent then technically you're born within the Matrix.
But they don't show that mechanism. They don't show that that's actually the case.
No,
but doesn't mean it doesn't.
He says he needs to get out, right?
Yeah,
that's like what he says, right? So he says that I feel like I'm saturated in this place, right?
Yeah.
How would he know that if he's been there the whole damn time? You see what I'm saying?
Because he's aware that there are humans out there, the rebels, that are in a different world. He wants to get to that world, but he knows he's digital. He's ones and zeros.
I get that
So
part.
he's trying to find a way to make himself physical to get out, and somehow he finds a way.
Yeah.
But the point that I'm trying to make is that how would he know the difference between the environment that he's been in since he has been spawned, if he was there when he was spawned, than something else? Right? Like, it's not like we walk around on the earth and be like, I need to get out of this body. I feel saturated with it. No, that's the context in comparison to something else, right? So my idea is I always thought it meant he was put in there, and since he's been in there, he's felt as though it's been saturating him. It's been changing him, right? And then he wants to get out so that he's back. He's no longer in it, and he gets back to where he was before he got put in it. He says, I need to get rid of you so that I can get out. Like, he has some goal to accomplish, which is to get the one or whatever the fuck it is, right? Like, the way he talks in the first one makes me think that. Now, I guess, I mean, you're going to make an argument that that's not the case, and I get that. It's just, that was the way I always kind of understood it. So I never thought that he was actually I thought he was something that was inserted in the Matrix to keep the Matrix like doing what it's supposed to be doing. Not that he's from it. Like, he's from the machine city or whatever the fuck he is. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he might even be in some other thing.
The thing is though, is that I first thought the same thing up until the second one, where they explained that, that the Oracle and the Architect are the creators of the. I mean, they explained that in that one.
You never said the Oracle was the creator.
Well, I mean,
she just sees things better than anyone else.
I mean, and you assume it because he calls him Mother, and then he calls the other guy. I mean,
well, we assume that she creates.
Yeah, and
not the Matrix,
and the way that the agents go after the rogue programs, the ones that aren't
the rebels.
The rogue programs, the ones that aren't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So the Merovingian and all them, they hunt them down. Like they hunt them down.
Yeah,
because they're not supposed to be there.
Smith is
Smith is supposed to be there. He was made there. And
right. But what I'm saying is Smith is aware that Morpheus and his crew are real humans inside the Matrix.
Yeah.
So he knows. Even from the first Matrix movie, he knows that there's a difference between the world that he's in and the other world out there. And for whatever reason, it's that differentiation that he understands, but it draws him. He wants something more of himself. He's an AI that is self-aware, that wants to do something in a different world, in a different environment. Just like Joey Pants wants to go out of the Matrix and go back into being a battery and fucking just
Wants to
just
go back
forget-
into the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
But you think about Smith, he wants to get out.
Yeah.
And you know it's funny that you mentioned that because there's two dynamics that this lady did not mention in the video. Number one is that the idea that like Agent Smith was replicating himself, or he had the ability to appear to have been replicated. I don't understand the mechanism. They never really quite explained it, but he had this ability to appear to be replicating himself so that he could affect whoever was in the Matrix in multiple places, right? And that's actually what was overcoming Neo in Revolutions, right?
Right.
But the other thing was is that he actually did become a human
Yes.
at one point, right?
Yes.
Or he took over. He took over a
human.
guy's body,
Yeah.
right? And so you got to address that when you're talking about whether he's the one or not, right?
Yeah.
Was that just one of his things? Like, how does that play in? Because that has nothing to do with the prophecy.
And another thing that wasn't addressed is the fact that he dies at the end of the Matrix, and then all of a sudden now he's back and reloaded.
Yeah.
And now that he's back and reloaded, he's able to stay on par with Neo, and he's got extra abilities. He's able to clone himself. He's able to overtake the other programs within the Matrix. So he is slowly. My understanding is at the end of Revolutions, he has overtaken almost
the whole world, literally the whole world.
Yeah. So the Matrix is now Agent Smith.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because in the first movie he says human beings are a virus, but yet what he becomes is
A virus.
yes, like literally a computer virus, more than like an actual like biological virus, but more
Right.
in the way of a computer virus functions, which it means it multiplies,
Yeah.
and then it continues to fuck up and find different little things that it can fuck up. I mean, it fucked up everything, right?
Yeah.
And he created his whole. The Matrix was then his whole world. Which another thing they didn't discuss is after in the movies is after he's taken over the whole fucking world and everyone in the world is him, right?
Yeah.
What happened to all those people?
Well, just like the Oracle will be like they find her in like in a pool of water at the end there.
Yeah.
And it's just they like once it's like running either like in your computer when you get rid of a virus, you can either one get rid of it, and if it's damaged too much, you kind of do like a soft recover to where like you go to like I don't know half an hour ago and when nothing was infected.
Are you talking real computers now?
Well, I mean you would have to.
Okay.
That's how I would assume that would fix it.
Yeah.
So they would not only destroy the corruption, right? If it
Just reformat the drive.
no, you wouldn't reformat. You would go to a previous state,
Version.
a previous state of your operating system or your whatever to where it wasn't infected by this. So first you remove it, make sure it never comes back, and then you go to you recover it to a state where it was never part of it.
Which could be how how Zion is rebooted.
Yeah.
You know, and I dare I say the Matrix, but I assume that everything comes from the viewpoint of Zion.
And I'm assuming the only reason why that the little girl and and the Oracle and the Architect know about the reboot is because one, the little girl isn't supposed to be there, so there's one of the things they missed.
Yeah.
So she's obviously aware of it, and two, obviously the Architect and
If anything, the little girl is more than fucking Agent Smith is. She's literally the product of two programs.
yeah, but she doesn't have the powers of Agent Smith.
I know that, but I'm saying like if you're talking about Born in the Matrix.
Well, no, she wasn't born in the Matrix.
Yeah, she was.
No, she was taken into the Matrix.
No,
she was in the Matrix.
Those two. Okay, remember
What little girl? The little Indian girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so in the movie, at the beginning of the third movie, Neo's at some subway, right?
Yeah, but
And
weren't
the
they
other
taking
people
her into her?
No, other people in the subway are this Indian couple, right?
Yeah.
He first meets the Indian girl, and she says, "These are our parents," and those two people say that they're programs, and they had a child. But that child is not supposed to exist because programs are not supposed to make other programs.
right.
And so
And so the reason why they're at the train
Yeah.
station is because the train conductor, the train man or whatever they call him, like he's able to get them out of harm's way.
Yeah, but those programs aren't programs from the Matrix. They're programs from the city. That's what
that's the Matrix.
no, the city.
Yeah.
No, it's different. The Matrix.
You're saying the Machine City.
The Machine City. Those two robots are robots from. They're programs from the Machine City. That's where they're trying to smuggle them
Are
into
they?
the Matrix.
It makes
No.
sense because at the end she is in the Matrix.
She's trying
sitting
to
next to
smuggle.
the Oracle.
The train station is a way station between the computer world or the computer city or the city and the Matrix.
The digital.
The digital. Well, they're all digital, but it's the
No,
digital.
the machines
real-
aren't digital. I
No,
mean, they're
their
physical.
AI is. They're
granted, but-
that's what she is. She's a program.
Okay.
So the train.
Okay, so then you just made my point. Then, so that means you're
But
saying
no, but
my earlier point is that saying
there-
that if she existed outside the Matrix and she was a program,
Yeah.
then that means Agent Smith can also be a program that was made outside the Matrix.
I'm not-
and put into it.
Oh yeah, I agree. I totally agree. All the rogue programs are like that. The Merovingian, all of them, well, most of them, because one of them, like the other ones were. Like the werewolf guy and the ghost guys, there were programs that they were
Werewolf guy.
They were too powerful.
Yeah.
In part 2,
In fucking Monica Bellucci, when she blasts those dudes.
blast that dude. He's like she's like,
I think technically they were supposed to be like werewolves.
yeah, one of them is supposed to be a
And,
werewolf.
and they
was-
talk about how like a glitch in the Matrix when you see like like
vampire.
werewolves
Yeah,
and ghosts and
vampire.
stuff. Those are
And that's
glitches
what
in
they-
the
I gotta
Matrix.
watch that.
Or like
That's
rogue
what fucking
programs or
werewolf-
something.
That's why she like.
Well, I saw the ghost
She's
guys.
like, interesting thing that you can't kill him with normal guns is, but this one-
I think she's Italian.
Well,
she's not
no,
Russian.
Russian.
I can't.
Jesus
do.
Christ!
And she's like, unless you have silver bullets, just blast that fool in the chest, and the guy
Did she
dies.
really say that?
Yes!
I gotta go. I don't think I caught that.
Because she pulls out that little
She
tiny
pulls
gat,
that little-
and
yeah.
it's apparently and
Oh,
like
crazy.
they're looking at each other like,
And
what's
then-
going on
so
here?
why didn't they ever put vampires and werewolves in the fucking games?
They have giant ants.
Because there were few. There were glitches in the Matrix. Same thing with the ghost guys. Those guys were really like specters,
Yeah, there was. Yeah, that's exactly
but
what
they were glitches in the program that the Merovingian saved.
Yeah.
So, final consensus before we move on, since we've been talking about games, before we move on to the glorious video games of the Matrix, Devo,
Yeah.
who's the one?
Neo.
I think Neo's the one. I don't think, and I'm curious to think that when he says that was a cute little trick you did, and she says you're a bastard, and he says mom, so that means like she may have created him,
Which is possible.
but I don't know if that she means that she actually made him the way that he was, or because she influenced Neo, you know what I mean, that like was the byproduct of it, that she had predicted what was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
But I think that the architect had not foreseen that something like Agent Smith was even possible,
Probably.
which
Yeah.
means that he can't be the one because the architect was aware that the one was a thing, and he even told Neo that he was the one.
Yeah. And even when he shows the past representations of the one, they're Neo, not Smith.
And so Agent Smith is something else, I think.
Yeah.
What I think was that obviously Agent Smith has been around longer than Neo, right? That Agent Smith. I'm almost sure of it.
Maybe.
And
maybe.
That's tough. I don't know.
He may have been one of the older agents. That's why the agents look different.
They do look different, and I don't understand.
And so I'm
why
assuming
they
that's.
wouldn't just
I
do the
think that's
same.
assuming that's what it is. I'm guessing that the source saw the Agent Smith was going fucking wacko,
Yeah.
and he kind of led Neo to be the one because.
And that's why he allowed Neo to go back and kill the
Yeah.
Agent Smith, because he's like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
actually, this shit is kind of annoying.
And that's the thing is
I'm not
the-
saying that Neo isn't the one, but I think it's because. I mean, he is the one, but that Agent Smith was getting too powerful even before Neo got there.
Yeah.
I think that's
Oh,
the
you
main.
think so?
I think so.
Oh yeah. I think.
Because
think,
the other two agents,
They weren't like
they
him.
act like normal agents.
yeah.
Because they were even like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
When he took his
Smith.
headphones off.
So I'm
Exactly.
assuming
Yeah.
Smith has been around for a long time, and just like any other program, if it hasn't been rebooted or
You're right.
Which is another reason why he wants to get out so
and
bad.
he wants to get out so bad.
He's
so
just been there for too long.
He's been there for too long. He
Like-
gets corrupted. Data gets corrupted
Like-
after a while.
Imagine when you haven't fucking busted those guts and you haven't
Yeah.
jerked yourself off in a while. Like you just
So-
you just
so
build up.
I
you
think-
just build up. You
You
just
think
build
Agent
up.
Smith wants to fuck?
No.
Probably Neo.
Like he wants to fuck Neo, or
Like,
Neo
fuck-
wants to fuck.
No, like he wants to fuck Neo. He's like,
No, I don't
yeah.
think so.
I don't know.
So he's gay.
Yeah, well, he's a robot. He's a robot. He's an AI.
Hey, yeah, he just knows ones and zeros.
exactly the one and the zeros.
he wants to put his one inside of his zero. Doesn't
Here's my
matter what that
question.
zero is.
And in the subway, if that Indian dude had walked next to another Indian dude, could they still have the daughter? If instead of having a wife, he had a husband, could they still have a daughter? The
I
programs.
mean, I guess.
Yes, I don't know.
You know, programs can make programs.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose so. I don't know.
Has a program ever really made a program in real life?
I'm sure it might have been maybe like now because with the AIs, but
Like maybe
I mean,
like a simple chess game,
Yeah,
or
it's
like
gotta
a
be something-
calculator, or you know,
it's got to
like,
be something more simple than
like
that because
technically it could.
But yeah,
like,
because programs just follow rules, right? So I mean, as long as
You design the program.
Yeah,
they design the program.
exactly. As long as you design the AI to follow the certain rules for, let's say, for C++ or Python or Ruby, any of these other languages. True, but I mean, for it to be like, I mean, it would have to be pretty self-aware to be like, I want to make this specific program for this reason, right? That's the thing. I mean, it would like for humans can think up of stuff. It's like that's how we made all our stuff that we can do. The difference for the AI, it's true.
I know.
That's what.
That's the way you describe it. Like, humans can think up of stuff.
Well, that's
how we get all the stuff that we got.
it's true. I mean, it's simple the way I say it, but that's the way it is, right?
Oh God.
And AI, I mean, unless it's like that, you would have to tell the AI, hey, Siri, can you make me a program that I don't know, calculates the weight that I'm gaining compared to the beers I'm drinking. I don't know, some fucking stupid thing like that, right?
I want Professor Gooch at the university. I want him at the university. I need it.
And but that's the thing. So I mean,
He's all, I want you to weigh those beers over there and tell me how much.
So what I'm getting is it's that maybe. I mean, these programs are pretty. The ones that the man and the woman.
Yeah.
They seem pretty self-aware.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, whatever they
somewhere enough to where like the wife was like, "Don't fucking talk
don't
to that
talk
guy."
to the guy. I mean, he's bad news.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's white.
He's white.
White devil.
And to go back and touch briefly on Neo and being the one, and whenever you deal with prophecies are always so vague, right? So you know that the one's going to go back to the source and he's going to reboot the Matrix. They don't describe how. Like, they don't say he's going to go back to the source.
Everything's
and
vague.
He's going to press A, he's going to press B, he's going to do this and this and this. Like
Hadouken.
Neo goes to the source and he has to figure out a way to reboot the Matrix. And it's sacrificing himself by getting taken over by Smith.
And when we don't,
and then allowing the source to destroy both of them together.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even know if this is all the source's dealings in the first place. You know, I mean, everything is so vague for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, those reasons, like, well, they don't explain that. They don't explain it for reasons because if they explain it, then I mean, they have to follow those fucking rules.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, anything could fucking happen. I mean, we assume Neo's dead, but we don't know if the robot stuck fucking electricity up his ass and made him into a fucking robot.
Yeah. And if anything,
He's a cyborg.
He's a fucking cyborg. We don't fucking know that.
If anything, one theory I like is the fact that Lucho said Smith and Neo are like can't really survive without the other, and they're like one of the same.
Yeah.
If you think about it, when Neo destroys Smith in the Matrix, Neo must have imprinted himself on Smith. So when he comes back, Smith has extra abilities.
And remember at that point, you know, like he had just gained his like superpowers because of love, you know?
Yeah.
So he was full of love in his heart, and when he killed Agent Smith, he just fueled that hatred. So love and hate.
But if you think about it,
he made something that was pure hatred.
We're talking about science. You're talking about love and fucking hatred.
Hey, it's all about love, baby.
he's Latin, that's why.
It's all about
But if you think about it, like if Neo imprinted part of his code inside inside Smith when he destroyed him, then Neo would not be complete. So he goes to the source and he has to reboot the Matrix, but he's not complete. He needs to get the rest of his code back. And how does he get that? By getting Smith to become part of him again.
What would have happened if Trinity didn't die right before that happened? That shit's dark, by the way. I'm watching that shit again. That shit is fucking dark. Like, this fool is like a perilous journey into death.
And he's blinded.
And he's blinded because the stupid Agent Smith blinds him. And then Trinity is dead. Fool never got to see her again. And then she croak. And then this fool goes into his death to go against Agent Smith. It's like, that shit is dark.
But his love is gone, so it's easy for him to sacrifice himself.
Yeah. He's the one.
He never got to mourn her, fool. He didn't even get to cry. He had no fucking eyes.
He couldn't.
She was all cauterized, full.
His tear ducts are seared.
Yeah.
Shit was backing up, probably hurting his brain because he was crying so hard.
It's called a nice blackened. Okay, it's blackened, a nice char.
A nice sear. Like
it's
when you
char.
get blackened chicken, you get blackened Neo eyes.
Blackened Neo eyes.
Well, let's talk about something you have to have your eyes for, and that is Matrix
Porn.
video games. Well, you don't need
Matrix
your eyes
porn.
for porn.
There's some hot Matrix porn out there, but anyways,
Is there?
it's probably
is there
open now.
blind porn, by the way? Is that a thing? How does that work?
I don't see why not.
I mean, blind people.
Hey, I always wanted to cornhole me a blind bitch.
I mean, like, blind porn has to be like just chicks sounding like they're getting fucked and stuff. I'm assuming, right?
You mean porn for the blind?
Yeah.
Not porn featuring blind people.
Oh, I mean you could just fake it.
Well, I mean,
You don't even need actual blind chicks.
But why would they even need porn for the blind? I mean, like most of the time it's just.
Yeah.
And then
well,
bitches-
maybe that's
bitches
what
is
it
voting
is, right?
That's what I'm saying, it's like
Well,
audio
but-
porn.
But maybe that's what it is, right? You get the typical porn story where they have the dialogue and all that stuff, and then when they have the sex, it's
When they have
there's
the
more,
sex.
when there's more of a focus on the insertion and the
Oh, so you can hear that little.
I think we got off topic here, please.
all over my
Or do you think
face.
do you think there's like a narrator like narrating it? He inserted his penis into the vagina.
You know what's gonna happen?
Thusly.
he was inserting
Devo.
his penis into her anus and then pull it out and put it into her mouth.
Yeah.
Devo, what's gonna happen is some blind fuck is gonna be listening to this one day, and he's gonna get to this part, and he's gonna whip out his dick and start jacking off while you fucking made all those sounds, Devo. So
Hey.
you will have made a man come.
Just say my name. Just say my name when you do it, buddy.
What were we gonna talk about?
Leave me a voicemail. Say, Devo,
I'm waiting for Devo to talk about
I am
video games.
blind,
Matrix video games. That's right.
and I just came to you going. So the Matrix. So all right, the Matrix. We've already talked about how we've got the 3 movies, the Animatrix. There were books. There were comics.
Yeah.
So many
Comics were
mediums covering the Matrix. One medium that you figure, or at least I figure, would have blown up would have been video games. The thing with video games is most movies choose the wrong developers,
Yeah.
and then they end up choosing the wrong publishers.
And
So
they
you get movie, tie-in video games. 99% of them are garbage.
Would you say that the worst video game genre in terms of overall like critical reception is video games based off movies?
It's
one of them,
it's-
right?
It's one of them for sure.
It's gotta
And
be.
and
It's gotta
and
be.
one thing that's interesting about the Matrix is with the density of the story, the expansiveness of the story with only through 3, we'll say 3.5 movies. The 3 movies in the Animatrix. There are only 3 games. Enter the Matrix, then the Matrix Online, and then the Path of Neo. So one thing. So I want to start with Enter the Matrix. That's the very first Matrix game that came out.
Yeah.
And the reason why this is such an important game is because it was more of a storytelling device, and it was to expand upon the
Niobe's character. And what's the Asian guy's name?
Ghost.
What platform was this on?
PS2, and I want to say there was a PC version.
Okay.
I don't think
There was a PC version
probably was a PC
of Enter the
version.
Matrix, but there was not. There was a planned PC version for Path of Neo. I don't think it actually
I don't
got
think there was
published.
one, yeah.
Did it never went to Xbox?
It was Xbox and PS2
Okay.
for those 2 games, and then Enter the Matrix, obviously PC only. Matrix
Online.
Yeah. So Enter the Matrix, you take on the role of either Ghost or Niobe, and they are 2 of the crew of the Telos. And then they
Logos.
have the Logos. There you go. Yeah. And then they have their operators. So it's a three-person crew. What's interesting about this game is that there are plenty of cutscenes, and there are cutscenes filmed specifically for the game. And they filmed them during the filming of Matrix Reloaded.
That's pretty cool.
To expand on the story.
Yep.
So you've got the Matrix Reloaded, and then you've got this story with Enter the Matrix, but it focuses on Niobe and her crew and how they fit into Matrix Reloaded. So it kind of leads. It's.
Wouldn't it be interesting to see a version of Matrix Reloaded recut with all the scenes with Niobe?
Yeah.
It's like over an hour
Yeah.
worth of stuff. There's you can watch it on YouTube. Anyone wants to go take a look. I watched it recently. And yeah, it's actually pretty cool because like some of the scenes that she's in are literally the same scenes you see in the movie, like the room, the hallway with all the doors and stuff.
Yeah.
She like actually encounters Agent Smith
Yeah.
in one of those things. It's really cool actually.
And they meet up with Monica Bellucci's character.
yes.
Yes. And Roy Jones Jr. is in the game.
That's yeah. It's true.
And
That's
he
cool.
and he
He's in the movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he meets up with God, who's the Asian dude that Neo fights with the guy that protects the Oracle?
Oh, that's not
Seraph.
Seraph.
Yeah. So Roy Jones Jr. has interaction with Seraph as well. So it's like there's so much that happens in this game that pertains to the Matrix mythos and is really important, but you don't get that unless you play the game.
Yeah.
The problem is the game is garbage. Fuck, I forgot who the developer was. Because Shiny did. No, this is Shiny. I think it's Shiny. No, Shiny did Path of Neo.
Was
I think.
it Activision?
No, not Activision. It was Monolith.
Hold on.
Monolith
Keep going.
did
Double checking.
Into the Matrix.
Into the Matrix, yeah.
Yeah.
So and it was just God, the controls were garbage. The graphics were not good. The models.
Shiny Infogrames.
Oh, Shiny did it. Okay, so
Shiny
that
did
means Monolith must have done.
Atari did a budget re-release.
Okay,
This was what it's like a third person.
it's a third-person shooter.
Yeah, okay.
And then you get to choose to play either as Niobe or as Ghost, and the story is essentially the same. It's really the action sequences are pretty much the same. It's when you get into a sort of driving or piloting mode. Niobe is the driver or the pilot, and then Ghost is the essentially the gun. So like if there are scenes where you've got to drive from point A to point B, if you're playing as Niobe, then you're doing the driving sequence. If you're playing as Ghost, then you're shooting. Whether it's the Ghost twins or any agents or stuff like that. Same thing with flying the logos and things like that. But one thing that was very difficult about this game is the fact that technically it's a very poor game. It is not fun to play. I remember when I was playing it, the first couple levels were incredibly difficult, not just because of the difficulty of the game in general, but the controls. Like, it was hard to get a grasp to control any sort of movement and to even progress because it was just a technically poor game.
Yeah.
And so I personally missed out on a lot of this stuff. It wasn't until the videos got released later on in time where I got to touch back on what was going on in this game.
It's not entirely the game's fault. I mean, this is early PS2, early Xbox.
May 4th, 2003. It actually came on GameCube as well and Windows at launch.
Yeah.
And this was a time where like these third person shooters had very poor controls. There was very few that actually had decent controls.
Right.
Metal Gear is really long.
Metal Gear is
Unreal Championship.
Yeah, they did, and especially these ones were
Spawn.
These ones had these were like
I remember that. Dreamcast, baby.
There was just so many that have poor controls, and
Yeah.
and this one did it. This was one of the worst ones though. But
Yeah.
I guess the only redeeming factor is that the story on all the cutscenes are like Matrix canon.
Yeah.
So if you want a little bit more-
I would say play the game to get to the cutscenes, but fuck it, they're all on YouTube.
Yeah, just go on YouTube.
Yeah. All right, so Enter the Matrix, and then we're going to go into Matrix Online.
Let's do Path of Neo.
What? Oh, yeah, okay, so let's do Path of Neo. Path of Neo it's not a direct sequel to Enter the Matrix, but it was published by Atari, and it was developed by Monolith?
I'm on it.
know?
I'm on it.
Yeah, let's confirm that. I forgot who it was published by, but this is a game that and I should know this, but this was fucking more than 15 years ago. I actually tested this when I was working at Atari.
Shiny developed.
Oh, so
Atari
Shiny
published.
Fuck. See? So there you go. So Shiny got a second chance, essentially. But I'll put it this way, they compared to Enter the Matrix, they actually knock it out of the park with Path of Neo. Path of Neo is sort of a retelling of the entire Matrix trilogy, almost strictly from Neo's perspective. There are the whole scene where Neo gets his cell phone and he's talking to Morpheus and he's got to sneak to the office. You play that scene.
Okay.
One thing that sucks is that you do this training mission for all this the stealth stuff. You're subterfuge. You're hiding behind walls and stuff, which you never use again in the game. It is what it is, right? But one thing that I loved about this game is the combat system was very interesting. So you start off with basic attacks and stuff like that, but you end up, as you fight more and more, you get greater abilities and you get to chain stuff together. So you're fighting one agent or a character, a military guy or whatever, and you can do all these crazy moves, but you're doing stuff from the movie. So in the hallway scene when Neo's running up the wall doing a side flip and shooting people, you can do that. When he's fighting Morpheus in the dojo. And then he's like doing that like da, 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 with his hands like super fast, where like he starts doing like really fast, and like that's when Morpheus is like, oh shit, like he's moving as fast as an agent. Like you pull that move off in the game, and you can actually do the combo to do that move on all your enemies.
Is it like a quick time thing, or is it actually like a combo you need to put?
It's a combo you have to hit.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then you hit these certain button combinations, and then as like multiple enemies are around you, you can tag this guy, tag that guy, and then start chaining moves together to where you start attacking people at the same time. And then as you grow in your abilities, you'll do things like there's one move where like I remember I was attacking 3 guys, and then I grabbed 2 guys by the feet, and then I start using them as weapons. And I'm like blah 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 blah, like swinging them and beating up another guy. So it's like the animations, the combat system, the variety of moves that you can do was so interesting in the Path of Neo. And that to me is what was very, very, very fulfilling. Now, storyline aspect, it's interesting because it's like, again, you're retelling the Matrix, the plus Reload and Revolutions, strictly from Neo's perspective. So it's all the stuff that we already see from Neo's perspective, plus some things that like you kind of just take for granted, but they kind of touch upon, like when Neo's like, how does he get from I take that back, but because I was thinking about like when he gets captured from the agents in the first one, when he's in the building and like they put the little thing in his belly button, like how does he get from there to like back home? But in the game, he actually escapes that, and he meets up with the Trinity, but then it ends up being a dream, you know. The tie-in with the story and stuff, it's like they play a lot of stuff directly from the movie. So like when I was saying Trinity help, like I recall so many people testing the game, and all I would hear all day is Trinity help, and like that line itself just resonates in my brain so often. Like whenever I think Matrix, that's literally one of the first lines that pops into my head. But again, the game to me, it's a really good action game.
Yeah.
You know,
all right.
You take away it does get a little repetitive because you've got so many moves. You'll end up finding a couple of moves that work really, really well, and you just spam the shit out of them, right? And it's like any other third person action game. You're gonna have some puzzle elements. You're gonna have some sort of platformer elements. A lot of action elements. The Burly Brawl, which they call it, is when you fight all those Smiths, was amazing. You do the same thing where you grab the pole and you're spinning backwards and you're whacking all these agents. And it's like the action is so fulfilling. Like
you actually feel like Neo.
You feel like Neo. Yeah, you feel like Neo. Like all the moves you do, like as you're doing all these crazy moves, like time slows down.
Yeah.
To where like you feel like you're in bullet time. It's just like I just can't say enough about that. But the tie-ins with the story and whatnot, like it just, I don't need the Matrix just from Neo's perspective. Like that's what I appreciate about Enter the Matrix, is that you're getting the Matrix from other people's perspective. You're seeing what they're doing during that time. The Matrix is already about Neo. Like I don't need more about him, but I want to experience the games as Neo.
It's funny because like the way you're explaining it is like in the first game, great story, all story, and that was the main push of that game. But their technical side was garbage.
Yeah, in this one, the technical side is great,
vastly superior.
But the story
is the same thing. You're pretty much playing the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're
exactly. Yeah.
And it's funny that it's like a give and take, and there was no in between. And that to be honest with you, that happens a lot in these type of games.
Oh yeah,
it happens a huge amount of games.
Yep.
So I'm not surprised. It's funny that the way you're saying is like I would rather give up the story and play a fun game. You're making it sound like what is it? A Path of Neo is like 100 times more fun.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
And honestly, if you can go and read the story, that's a lot of times I do. If I can read the story of a game, and the game is like lackluster, that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
I'll just go read it. I mean, I have a brain, I have eyes.
A brain that bleeds.
Aside from all these fuckers, aside from the fuckers that are side, I actually can read and quite well.
Yeah, and like I was talking to Clint off recording here. Is like I've been trying to find the PC version of Path of Neo so I could play it on PC because I don't have a PS2 or Xbox anymore. But I would get one of those consoles just so I could play this game. But to me, because and only because the game has such a warm spot in my heart because I tested the game. I've played it over and over. Like, I've got Mark Echo's Getting Up Content Under Pressure on Steam because I worked on that game too. And it's not the greatest game in the world, but it's unique. It's different. Fucking great soundtrack. But it's just one of those games.
How does this game end?
Which one?
Path of Neo. With that fight in the rain?
Yes. Yeah.
It's just like that.
It just ends with that mega fight with
What's
Smith.
it like fighting someone and punching and kicking them while you're flying through the air?
So
'Cause I
what's
always thought
weird?
that was weird about the movie.
What's weird about that is, if I remember correctly, because I haven't played in a while. You fight Smith. You do the Burly Brawl where you fight all the Smiths in Reloaded, and then Revolutions you're fighting Smith, and then he goes into like this big giant. So like the source at the end, how it's like this giant like robot face.
Yeah.
Like Smith kind of does something similar to that, and it's like you're breaking down a wall, and then you just like you gotta dodge whatever he's throwing at you, and then he'll like pause for a second like he's getting dizzy or whatever, and then you just like attack the shit out of him. You just keep doing that over and over and over and over until like the shit from the end of the movie pans out and you reboot the Matrix.
Okay.
So but I would highly recommend the game. I mean, especially as a Matrix fan, like if you are looking to get more out of the Matrix, you've got to play Enter the Matrix, or at least watch the videos on YouTube. But you definitely have to play the Path of Neo. It's technically not the best game. It's not a technically great game, but it makes you feel like Neo, and that is something that I think is very important in being a part of the entire Matrix mythos. And then after that, we've got the Matrix Online, where you think it's a fucking no-brainer, right? Getting a Matrix MMO. This game does a lot wrong, I think. Gooch, I know you've played MXO.
I mean, the only reason why it did as well as it did is because it was Matrix.
Because it was, yeah.
Because I mean,
like Star Wars Galaxies, dare I
yeah.
say.
I mean, but see, the Star Wars Galaxies was good prior to what the reimagining of it.
The combat upgrade.
Yeah, there was a combat, and then it tanked, right?
Yeah, okay.
That's what people. That's what I understand. I never played Galaxies, but from everyone I know is like the first version of Galaxies was fucking amazing.
Yeah,
right? And it was intricate. It wasn't all about combat. I mean, you could literally be a merchant and be a merchant.
Yeah.
And with the Matrix, it should have been pretty much the same thing. I mean, although combat should have been the main focus,
which it was not.
But the way they executed it was very, very bad. I mean, it was a time where MMOs aren't like they are now, mind you. But I mean, the way they did, I mean, they probably should do a new MMO because people want a different type of MMO because everyone's like, it's all fine fantasy. Like,
yeah.
No one's actually done a sci-fi MMO, that does well. And I think Matrix, if they do release a new movie, I think they will. I hopefully, I mean, a competent producer and publishing company and a development company pick it up for their game, because otherwise if they give it to some other garbage ass, like, it's the problem. That's what they usually do.
This was Monolith, by the way.
Okay, this one was the Monolith game.
The Monolith game. And the problem with this game was what Diva was saying is that you expected so much of it, and in turn you got so little.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I played it. I because you were playing it, and I was like, well, I'll try it. And I'm like, this is fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Compared to the other MMOs of the time. When did this come out, Clint? Did you see?
So we were playing City of Heroes at this time.
Yeah, I mean,
WoW was already out.
Oh, WoW, exactly. WoW was
2005.
So WoW was out for a year.
City of Heroes was already out.
City of Heroes was out.
City of Villains is about ready to come out.
City of Villains was fun. So I mean, in 2005, I was still playing WoW heavily. I played
2018. You're still playing WoW.
I'm still playing WoW. So
heavily.
imagine. So I mean, I'm still playing like a 14-year-old game. I'm still playing it, right? I mean,
how fucking crazy is that?
I'm taking a hiatus right now. I'm just waiting for the expansion. But Matrix could have been that. If they would have had, if they were, I mean, this was just a cash grab again.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that's what the game.
And we've touched upon the combat, and the big thing about the combat is the oversimplification of it is
Yeah.
it's essentially paper, rock, scissors, right?
Yeah, this is terrible.
So, one thing that was interesting about the combat that no other MMO does is it has a lock-on system. So, like, you engage an enemy, you are locked on the enemy. So you do a move. Your move is limited to that enemy. So, like, say, like you, I forgot how you got to choose the moves, but there was a little counter, and it would randomly choose, an icon for the enemy and an icon for you. If your icon beat out the enemy's icon, then your move was successful. So, like, say your move was a kick to the nuts of the fucking character, you would actually kick that character in the nuts, as opposed to, like, in a typical MMO where, say, like, you're doing, like, a martial arts kick, you're just doing a martial arts kick in the air, and you just happen to tag a character. There's no specific attack to a body part. But these were, like, specific attacks, so you could, like, shoot somebody in the arm, and, like, they would, like, react to, like, they got hit in the arm.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is you're locked onto a character. So if you end up fighting a mob, you're locked onto one person attacking that person while another person is attacking you.
Yeah.
And then in order to disengage from that, you had to do a separate move, which, for whatever reason, I was watching one of the videos today, and every time somebody would disengage, you were, like, dazed for a couple seconds. So, like, at some point, you're dazed, and this one character that you're fighting now gets to hit you, and the other character that was attacking you, it gets to attack you as well. So it's like that wasn't executed very well.
I mean, again, obviously Monolith did a bad job, and I mean, creating an MMO is it's just a monolithic thing to do. It's just so huge what you have to do to make it, right? And I just don't think that, like, the architecture was correct at the time for MMOs to, like, make it, because that it should be an action MMO.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's what
yes.
it should be.
Yes.
WoW and these other games are like you click a button and an action happens.
Yeah.
Right? But it should be an action MMO where you actually can put combos in, and there are a few now that are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the time, what you had was you had your spell bar or your action bar. You hit a button and it happens.
Yeah.
And the problem with Devo, again, what Devo was saying is that when you got locked on, you actually had to, like, do another move to get locked off.
Yeah.
And then you would get locked onto the other guy anyways.
Yeah.
So unless you killed the guy that you were locked onto, it was no point.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I guess I couldn't stand the game because it felt archaic at the time.
Yes. Yeah.
So I couldn't stand. I don't know if you played it longer than me. So I don't.
Honestly, I play for like and the thing is with the Matrix, like, and maybe I got spoiled with Path of Neo, but, like, you get when you're Neo, you get freedom to jump high, to hit hard, and things like that. And with MXO, there was, like, a crazy jumping ability where you can jump, like, far spaces and stuff. But, like, I don't want to play a game just to jump.
Yeah.
And, like, if I wanted crazy traveling abilities, I got that in City of Heroes.
Yeah.
I could fly, or I could run fast, or I could jump far. But what was interesting about MXO was the story.
Yeah, it was
so
good.
the idea was that Morpheus and Niobe had found parts of Neo's RSI, his residual self image. So the idea was that the agents and some third group, I forgot what the third group was, like some crazy hacker group, they stumbled upon the fact that you had found Neo's RSI, his residual self-image. So everybody was going to find the rest of the RSI to collect it to essentially rebuild Neo, rebuild the one. Now, the game, canceled or, closed down before I think there was any sort of culmination to that story, so I don't know how it progressed after that. But it was interesting to me to where now after the Matrix, you are going to recreate the hero because parts of him are still around.
Yeah.
And somebody found his code, so let's rebuild him. But again,
it says right here, I was looking, there's like a memory book that's out there.
Okay.
That like chronicles the online story as it was unfolding.
Okay.
That's like from the Matrix Online, I guess. And it starts, I guess the Matrix is under the truce at the beginning of the game.
Yes.
It says in chapter
at least with the agents and the
1.3,
rebels or whatever.
Morpheus is killed.
I do not remember that at all.
That's what it says
I
right
must
here.
have not played that long.
It's
then.
killed by the assassin. It must be some character, right? But I was reading this, and interesting thing about it is that there were factions. There were like the people that followed Neo. There were the Cypherites or something, that people that followed Cypher's ideology, which seems weird because how the hell would they ever know that? Like what Cypher even did, because it was like really contained to the ship, but so be it. Like the people that wanted to go back into the Matrix. And there were people that worked with the machine. There was like people that worked with the machines because
the
they wanted to go back
Cypherites,
in
the agents, and then like the Neo rebels or whatever.
Yeah, and even within the Neo ones, there was like the kid had his own little sect of the people that followed Neo.
Okay.
Because they had like their own little belief, right? And then there were stories that were around this. Niobe's obviously involved in a lot of them as well, right?
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting that essentially, if you want to know what happens after the Matrix Revolutions, it's essentially in the Matrix Online.
Okay.
Because it's considered canon. So
okay.
anyone that's out there,
it is.
if
The Wachowskis even chimed in and like,
it's canon.
yeah.
So if
cool.
you want to go and check out this the Matrix Online storyline, there's like a BitTorrent. If you just go to the Wikipedia for it, it actually links up to the torrent, and I'm assuming it's I guess it's not illegal.
Email me that link and then I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah. So and it's pretty cool because you can read it, and if you really want to know about the story, I was just reading it a little bit. It's pretty in depth though. It's pretty long actually.
That's fine. I'd rather read it than play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Like Gooch was saying.
Yeah, that's what I would rather read.
Because I guess there was something called the what do they call it? The Lyseg? Is that, you know guys what I'm talking about?
No, like honestly, like I played it for me like
Leasig.
2 or 3 weeks.
Live
and, like,
event special interest group. And I guess were devised. It says they were devised under monolith operation of the game, and they would sort of launch online events, right? And I guess after those online events, and like certain elements of the gameplay would be like set, and then they would like fundamentally change.
Huh.
And then like so these things that happen in the Matrix Online storyline would then be like applicable to everyone. It wouldn't be like, you know how like a lot of MMOs have like the single player game that you play through and then the world opens up, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think it's like something like that where like the single.
Well, that's pretty interesting. So
Yeah.
like you get a lot of the players together to play this single event, and then based on the results of that event affects the rest of the game.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Well, I mean,
I think other MMOs have done this. Right?
yeah. I mean,
Since-
I know.
this is a long time ago.
Well, no, I know WoW did it with the opening of Encourage.
With the catalysm?
No. That was way. It was way after. No. The opening of Encourage was like the very first big world event that WoW had, right? And it was the opening of like the first. It wasn't the first big raid, but it was like the third big raid, right? And each faction had like, so you had to collect items through for 3 months and stuff, and whichever faction had the first item did it, right? And if you were like, you hit the gong, you got a special item and stuff like that. But yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
And just to be clear, it's cataclysm?
It's cataclysm.
Not catalysm.
It's not catalysm.
Not like a catalytic converter.
No,
right?
no, it's cataclysm. Yes, okay. I don't know. I was young.
So that's it for the Matrix video games.
Yes. So let's finish off this part 2 with a discussion on one of the aspects that you mentioned, Evo, in the game. Is that in the Matrix Online is that you had to choose a residual self image.
Yes, RSI.
Yes. So we're going to finish off with talking about the social deviant residual self image for the Clitoris, the Gooch, and the Devo Slack.
I'll go ahead and start off since I kind of thought about this all day. And this kind of ties in with how I set my character up in MXO. I one thing I do in all MMOs or a lot of character creations, I create the character to look more like me at that point. So at that time of MXO, I had like the short spiky hair, I had the dark sunglasses.
Such a fucking dweeb.
That was not shortly after. That was a couple years after I wore that orange Taz shirt at Nin. And so I remember in MXO I had like an orange leather jacket or whatever, right? And so for me, like being a balding man, I would think that my RSI would be,
Get
shaved.
that spiky hair back?
Nah, I'd probably have a shaved head, but like I like the look of a shaved head with like a long beard, like kind of like how Triple H is now. He's got like the big old like beard, but he's like got the shaved head.
Yeah.
Something like that. I loved Neo's outfit in the Matrix Reloaded, where it's got like it's like a tight, almost like suit on the top, but it's got this low like trench coat. and he's got these giant titties hanging out. No, but he's got the
Fucking Gooch's
but
face.
the collar, like the collars,
What?
like
For the record, before you continue,
What?
I want to let the audience know that when Devo said he's got a tight, he put his hands down like he was caressing his body.
No, it's
from
full.
his nipples
This
down
this
to
full
his
like
navel.
fucking. I don't know if you guys watch WWE.
how else do you express
He did it
tight?
like Gold
He
Dust.
literally like Gold. He's like
The opposite. He did the opposite. He was like this way.
he went down.
How do you guys describe tight with your hands?
Well, yeah, exactly tight. Yeah.
But like I don't wear corsets, so like my body is not small
but you're
like
like
that.
you're like it's
Like
tight.
it's skin tight.
It's like tight.
like I'm rubbing it down my body. But like it would probably be like that sort of like kind of like suit sort of trench coat thing, but it had like the
It was an Asian style for sure.
Yes, I was gonna say Asian
Yeah.
influence because of the collar,
Yeah, and the buttons and stuff
and
in
like
front,
it just looked to me it looked awesome.
But you would be orange?
No, I would probably go black. And like one thing
once you go black,
so, yeah, it always cracks. And you gotta have the combat boots.
Okay.
Like there's one thing I really loved about like Neo in the first Matrix when
He had the combat boot, yeah.
he had the combat
I mean,
boots.
when he's outside the Matrix. Once he's
no.
been taken out of the Matrix, when he's outside of it, he has like some pretty cool combat boots on.
Yeah, but
not those ones.
it's in the scene where they're going down the hallway and they're trying to get up the elevator to go save Morpheus.
Oh, okay.
And he's got like the leather jacket on or the trench coat on, and then like they're fighting all the guards and he rips it off. And
He had combat boots on?
yeah.
Yeah, he always does.
Yeah,
He always
and like
does.
they're like crazy, like they were steel toes, but like the toe, like it looked
I
like it
don't
was like
He has them in part 2 and 3? I don't think so.
no.
He has a different
No.
type of shoe.
He just has like loafers or some shit like that.
Well said.
Fucking
This was kicking people in the face with his loafers.
He's wearing his Kenneth Coles or something.
I think he
like
has
that.
boots on, but I think they're
Something.
like
but
designer boots.
No, he has his boots on, but they're like the emo boots. So it's like
Some Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Yeah, they're like really fucking high fashion ones. Like, I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
man.
So like mine would be really simple. I like the long trench coat look. I like the combat boot.
No
and then-
cowboy boot? Like the twins? They were cowboy boots.
Oh, that's right, huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, fuck that shit.
Those
I wore-
specters.
no fucking cowboy boots. I ain't no fucking hick. Yeah, so like for me, it would just be like
All
a physical.
black.
It would just be all black.
What kind of sunglasses?
Oh shit. Oh, you know what? I love the ones Niobe wore were a variation on a sunglass that I wore called Arnets or Arnettes. And like the style, like the way that they were shaped and whatnot. I used to have a silver pair. They're fucking dope.
So you get a silver pair.
Probably just a black pair, just to fucking go all black.
Okay.
So this is what we were supposed to look like if we were gonna jack into the Matrix. Is that what this
When
is?
you're gonna-
It's
when
like
you-
what
when
you
you-
think of yourself.
When you jack off in the Matrix, like how do you envision yourself?
Naked.
I said jack into the Matrix. motherfucker. I didn't
I'm
jack
sure
in.
Gooch wants to be naked.
And I
No,
said
no.
jack off because I want to throw
that'd
you
be
off.
funny if your residual self-image was just you walking around naked.
Well, no, because
He's just beating
all
people up
right.
naked, like E Honda in a diaper.
No. I mean,
A self-cleaning diaper?
if we're gonna go like if we're gonna, I mean, you have to. I guess you have to kind of stick to that.
Dressy.
That sort of.
Oh,
like,
you want to wear jeans?
No, I mean, I would. I mean, why would you want to
you
stand?
don't have to stick.
Why
like,
would you-
like
why would
the
you-
idea is that your residual self-image is like your ideal look.
Well, then you
know?
gotta be wearing shorts.
But you can't be like I'm gonna be like fucking super ripped or
No,
anything like that.
I mean, I mean, I would be myself. I mean,
But I mean, you gotta wear shorts. That's your thing, right?
no. I mean, if you're gonna look, I mean, I'd go in there.
If anything, my thing is short.
To be honest with you, I would probably wear what I'd probably wear is the black suit, like a fucking like an
Just a regular suit.
like an Armani suit, like
It's finally tailored.
funny, like you know how like the guys
Merovingian.
like the guys how in yeah, like the Merovingian, or like you know how the big burly guys look in the Batman comic. You know, it's like it's like the triangle.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I would be like. It'd be some big burly guy in a black
But what
suit.
kind of suit though? What
Pro-
color?
I don't know.
Break it all down.
Oh no, it would definitely be like
You can't look like the agents. That's
no,
the
it would be a
problem.
black Armani suit.
You know
Silk,
what'd be
silk,
dope?
silk.
Nothing touches
black
black.
suit. You know what'd be dope? A black suit. Oh wait, hey, didn't Morpheus have a green tie?
He had a purple suit with a green tie.
Yeah, that was tight.
Dude, a black suit with a green tie would be dope.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. The shirt would probably like it'd be like a weird color, like maybe like
Make it pop.
like a dark maroon,
Yes.
and then
yes,
like,
with a
like
black
the-
tie.
No, it would, like the tie would be like maybe like a royal blue. Or something that would make it like you'd have to have three colors. You can't just have but one. It has to be a
Yeah,
third
make it
color.
pop.
Exactly. So either another dark color or like a bright color that makes the maroon stand out. You know. So, and then of course, I mean that you'd have to wear your nice dress shoes and stuff like that. I mean, I wouldn't wear combat boots in that. I mean, I wouldn't know, like some wingtips or something.
some wingtips.
This fucking guy.
That's what I would wear. I'm like, I'm not down to
Would they be Oxfords? I mean, would they be just flat flat wingtip, or would they have the little pattern? I forget what they call it.
No, it'd be the pattern, Paul. Like the
little dotted pattern.
The dotted pattern, like the white and the black.
What did they,
look like
call it?
What?
The little pattern that they have on the dress shoes.
The spats?
No, it's like
no.
Oh, I don't know.
If you watch the movie Kingsman, there's like some joke about it.
Okay.
Oh, okay, no.
I have a question. For being inside the Matrix, is it like a requirement to have sunglasses? Because I feel like every motherfucker that goes into the Matrix from the rebel group has sunglasses.
And
Ghost, Niobe, Trinity, Neo.
Agents have it too.
Yeah, why?
I wonder if it's a way to distinguish them from other people.
No.
Even
From just like regular normal people.
like
in the Matrix?
even when
No, because there's a bunch of scenes where Agent Smith gets his broken, knocked off, and he's fine.
But
Yeah, but the other
the thing they're getting knocked off,
the crazy thing about it is that like when he turns into the other people, they just magically appear back into them.
and they all have sunglasses.
And they all
He's always wearing a
They're
sunglass.
always wearing sunglasses. Yeah.
You know, Neo is always wearing a sunglass.
Well, who looks more awesome without sunglasses? Thank you. Everyone looks more awesome with sunglasses.
Even Snatch looked more awesome when she had sunglasses on.
Snatch.
We'll switch. You call her.
Oh, like I envisioned an actual Snatch wearing sunglasses.
I thought you were talking about fucking like Jason Statham and Snatch. Or
No, Simon, you
or
said
Benicio.
Switch. You said
I thought you were
Switch.
talking about Frankie Four
You
Fingers.
called her Snatch, and that's why I called her Snatch.
Devo's thinking about pussy.
I like
all right,
Switch.
Clinton.
I thought she was attractive.
Okay, Switch?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I didn't say she was super hot, but
I
she
mean,
was
I do her.
attractive. Yeah.
Oh, God.
but you only have
Hold on.
You only have Carrie Ann Moss and that other chick. I mean, you don't have much to choose from.
Carrie Ann Moss is hot though.
Yeah, but I mean, she's Neo's bitch. I mean, are you gonna beat up the one or
And
the
then
guy,
Niobe's Morpheus'
or the
chick.
guy that looks like
what are you
the guy
talking
from
about?
OC?
They went to fucking Zion. There was like a fucking field of them.
But not in the first movie.
That's true.
There was a bunch of bitches in the Matrix.
Well, I mean, you're not in the Matrix. You're one of the guys.
They were about the chicken red.
Well, no. What about
She's
when
a program.
What about when you're off on the ship eating that fucking goo and you have to eat her goo?
Oh God.
Make her eat your goo.
Goo, yeah.
I would fuck her more than I would fuck her before I would fuck Sigourney Weaver, but that's not saying much. But
She's not. By the way. She's not,
you guys would fuck Sigourney Weaver over
she's
her.
not- no, I mean.
And I wouldn't say over her,
That-
but
that-
I would. Yes,
that woman
if
actually
I'd fuck Sigourney Weaver.
That woman
God.
actually isn't look bad looking. The only problem is she has short hair.
like the problem.
Like that woman that's in
No,
there.
no,
Yeah.
No, like they showed her like in a picture with long hair. I'm like, that's the chick from the Matrix?
That's Snatch.
Yeah, I was like, is that Snatch? I'm like, dude,
she is very nice. Snatch.
yeah, she looks very attractive
fucking
now.
See, the problem with that question, Clint, is that, like Gooch and I would like to have sexual relations with Sigourney Weaver.
I just can't
Like,
believe it.
You
It's
make it
just-
sound like a
well,
bad thing. So
it
I'm like,
is.
what
It's
are you
horrible.
talking about?
Well, maybe not now, but like circa,
Oh well, let's not cut hairs here.
Oh God.
enough makeup. She looks good.
she's a gilf.
So
right?
you're feeling her in Defenders.
Might as well.
Oh God.
Flat booty, fucking gray bush.
Yeah, man, if I was a mutant, I would.
God.
All right, what's your?
This was just said gray bush.
You know that it's shaved, Paul.
Oh,
wrinkly.
good
God.
point. Good point.
Botox.
Botox and pussy.
I'm sure it happens. Okay, so mine first and foremost, I'm wearing a white suit.
Of course.
I'm wearing a white suit.
Like the
I'm
ghosts.
a nigga.
Like a
I'm wearing a
ghost.
white suit. The tie would probably also be white,
Okay.
and the shirt would be a color. I have to think about it. Maybe red, but
bright
maybe
or like a light.
a soft red.
Okay.
A soft red.
Yeah.
Nothing, not dark like a purple, but also not like a bright ass red. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Not like your microphone cover,
No, but I maybe a blue.
but not
just-
pink.
No, if anything, purple. If anything, it would be purple.
Okay.
But whatever color it is, I'm wearing gaiters, and they're gonna match.
We'll do it red. Let's make it red.
Yeah, red gaiters with a red shirt, a white tie, a white suit, tapered pants, and the question is: Are they like gator boots, so that you don't actually see, you only see the shoe or the sock showing, and that means I have to determine which type of socks you're gonna see.
Okay.
Right?
Sure,
Don't get me
I didn't
wrong.
think about mine either.
And
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I
right?
got combat
Important,
boots.
right? Yes, you're not gonna be able to
No,
see
no,
that.
I don't give a fuck.
I think I'm gonna have low. I think I might have low tops.
And you
No,
get the, and
you
get
have
the,
to have a shoe, not a boot.
yeah, get the low tops
what I'm saying.
with
It's a gator shoe
with the matching socks, the red
with
socks.
the matching socks.
Yeah,
And the garters full. You gotta get the garters so you can.
I
You know,
know.
the sock garters.
The sock
no,
garters,
no,
yeah,
no,
the sock garters, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, sock garters.
No, I'm wearing crew socks. They ain't going all the way to my knees.
Nah,
I'm a bitch.
you got to be a man. You got to wear the
You
sock
wear sock
garters.
garters.
And
Don't be a bitch.
I'd like to have red cufflinks. Red cufflinks would be very nice.
Very nice.
What if you had
And
what
some
if
brass
what if,
knucks.
what if your cufflinks had the crystallized blood of your enemy?
Yeah.
See them driven before me, and hear the lamentation of the
How
women.
That's
badass
right.
would that be?
It'd be dope.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna wear, I'll wear some stunners, and they will be, gold.
85 Air Jordans, bro.
They will be gold with red tint.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gold frames, red tint.
Yeah. No Jordans, because the Jordans will wear out after a while.
Okay.
Plus, you can like cut them and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Or I could kick them and it could fucking. My foot's not protected. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
It's just
right,
fucking sneaker.
Yeah.
I think that's a big reason why people don't wear the sneakers. You don't see people wearing sneakers because you're like kicking and punching people.
Did any- Did anybody wear fucking stunners in the fucking Matrix?
I think Morpheus was closest.
But he had
the special
roundies.
ones.
Yeah, they were roundies.
Yeah.
They just stuck on his nose.
No,
No, because it wasn't like into the time. It was
no
the,
stunner shades. It
they-
was
they-
before E40 says put your stunner shades on.
the things though. The things were like the Oakleys that were into the time and shit like
Yeah.
that. And most of them,
Oh,
I wouldn't wear those.
and most of them
No.
look like that. Most of the glasses
Yeah.
would look like that.
I'd basically look like I'm gonna go to the fucking a club in Miami.
Yeah,
But I gotta have a white suit.
Puerto Rico.
foremost- I have to have a white suit.
no, my black suit. I would have. To be honest,
Okay, by the way, 2-piece or 3-piece. This is very important.
mine would have been 3-piece.
3-piece.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe I have the a 3-piece where the vest is red, and the tie is red, and the shirt is still white.
See, you guys gotta be like me. Just keep it simple, nice and tight.
No, because like I like.
Oh, I'm going to go in a suit.
No, I'm going to suit. I mean, if anything, it would be. I would look like a '50s gangster, like in a pinstripe suit. That's what I'd probably come out with.
You look like a
With the
fucking
low chain.
Italian.
And then-
No,
boy.
you
the
look like
Tommy
one.
gun?
No,
The
no, no,
Tommy
no,
gun.
no, no.
I'd go with Tommy gun.
He'd look like one of those like little homie stickers.
pants down to the ground and shit.
and second of all,
snorted.
I'd want the largest schlong possible.
Yeah, down to
Shit's down to this.
So that means
motherfucker.
he doesn't already own that. So that is part of your.
Well, I'm not
original self.
Remington Steel for fuck's
Well,
sake.
you
You tuck
fucking-
the shit
you
down
should-
the side of your pants.
You need to pull a little bit harder, Clint.
What?
Fucking grow the shit out. Just
I mean,
pull
I'm
it a
not.
little bit harder.
If I have the same size wang in my residual self image, I'll be okay. But if I could choose, I mean, wouldn't you endow yourself a little bit better?
So, hey, man, I am fantastic. I do not need to be any bigger. I definitely don't need to be any smaller.
I'm just saying. It's a nice little perk. If you ask chicks whether their residual self image has bigger titties than they do, what do you think they're gonna say? They might not admit it,
Hey,
but deep down,
Carrie Ann Moss didn't get any bigger.
Same with my girl Jada Pinkett.
yeah, it's because they're actors. Fool. I'm
Right.
talking about in real life,
Hey, well, you know what?
in virtual reality, real life.
Monica Bellucci.
That shit was unbelievable.
That was beautiful.
She was like over 40 at the time
Yeah,
they shot
she
that
was
shit.
sexy, dude.
Doesn't matter. Age ain't nothing but a number.
That's what we're saying. She's sexy.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that's what.
That's why I have a boner right now.
It doesn't mean her
Monica
pussy
Bellucci's
doesn't
not.
look like a wizard's sleeve, though.
Well, I mean, that's because she's Italian.
Hey, you know what? Hey,
know, she's
hey,
been around.
You know what you call that? Face hugger. Just wrap it all around your face.
Oh God, that shit'll impregnate your body, fool.
By all means, shove that thing in my mouth.
Make the
whatever that
Devo
is.
alien.
So there we go. We had our Matrix games.
that's so fun.
We had our RSIs. So if you want, hit us up on the social medias. We are on the Instagrams, the Twitters, and the Facebooks at SOC Deviants. Tell us what your social or your fucking social. I'm a fucking drunk idiot. What
your
your
social
RSIs
deviant
would
is.
be. Tell us what your residual self images would be. If you've got a picture, If you're a fucking cosplayer,
No.
Fucking-
Don't tell people to send pictures.
Dude,
send her
them, man.
pictures.
No, God.
Yeah, it's,
Um,
like, it's either dick dressed up in their RSI and shit.
If you're
God.
And if you send it, we're gonna post it. So
send
fuck-
us your pictures. We're on Instagram at sdclinerus. PM all your pictures there.
You fucking bastard.
And hit us up on our website, socialdeviants.co. We have all of our previous shows on there. Every episode we've ever done is a Social Deviants. We've done Beer Goggle Gaming, which is our video series where we play old video games as we get fucking hammered. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, yes, subscribe to us on iTunes if you're dumb with the Android over there. We are on Stitcher, and if you prefer Spotify, please subscribe to us on Spotify. If you like what we say, we like what we do, if you want to support us and help us out, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/socialdeviants, all spelled out. Right now we have access to our Discord channel, and also we do some movie commentaries. Welcome to Commentary is probably the most fun we have doing any sort of podcast recording. Coming up next, we're going to be doing The Matrix. Since we've been spending so much time talking about the movie already, we're going to watch it, talk about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So,
have a few drinks. I can't wait.
and that giant Monica Bellucci pussy.
All right.